Whether you are a web developer, an entrepreneur, or an influencer interested in an online presence, you need a website. And every website needs a domain name. Oftentimes, people are not familiar with web tech, and they find it overwhelming with all the domain names and all the ridiculous pricing scheme. Well, this video is here to help you find the cheapest top-level domain. From here on, we refer them to TLD. In order to start your business, start your project, or your brand. It will also let you know why a certain domain costs so much more than others, and what is domain hacking, and how it is fun and there's nothing illegal about it. Let's get started. There is a few things that I want to clear up about what I meant by cheapest domain. If you don't know, domain has two prices. The price for the first year and the renewal price every year that follows. That's the price that a domain registrar charges you to maintain that domain. Of course, different domain registrar has different price because they are getting the domain from another company at a different rate, and they are earning different margin. So when considering domain price, the first thing you need to see is if the domain registrar include basic services such as Whois privacy. Whois privacy is when people are trying to look up whoever owns the domain. They will find the domain registrar instead of your name or your home address or business address. You can immediately see the problem if someone can find your address online. Guys and gals, don't put your address online. Some domain registrar requires you to pay extra for Whois protection, while others like porkbun include that for free. I have been a customer of porkbun for a while, so all the footage you see here is from that website. And this video is not sponsored by them. They simply have the cheapest price when this video is made. The second thing you need to see is those first year discount or sales. And sometimes it is so cheap that it is even free for the first year. And that's how they get you, because you are not paying attention to how much does it cost to renew per year after the discount. So for example, if the first year is free and the next year is over $20, you're actually paying more than a .com domain, which costs around $9 per year to renew in 2 years' time. So it is not cost effective. In this video, I will actually show you TLD or top level domains that will cost you a total of $27 for the next 10 years. Although they are not your popular generic domain like .com, .net, or .org, they are so cheap that you wouldn't mind they are new to the game. The domain game, I guess. Also, before I go into those domains, I want to say these domains are not really for domain investment, meaning they will not likely be sold at a higher price later. And people do that. They buy domains with popular terms like carinsurance.com and sell it later for a higher price. So get the domain only if you will use it to direct it to something. In terms of domain investment, I feel that .com is still the most popular top-level domain to get. The third thing is, if you want to get any one word as your domain, like excellent blah blah blah, words like that are likely taken or only available at a significant premium. And premium don't have any sales in terms of first year price and renewal fee. In fact, they might actually charge you more per year to renew. So when I said the cheapest domain, I do not mean that you can get those one-word domain or even those 3-digit or less numbers domain like 999 something, which are available only at a premium. Oh, also, don't get names that are trademarked domain like Disney something, because you open yourself to legal troubles. So don't do it. Okay, let's talk about the 6 top level domain that cost $27 for 10 years. First, we have .win. It is meant for video game. If there's any sense of competition in your app, then that's your domain. It is short, 3 letters, and easy to remember. Although it might be mistaken with .win, like it's a breeze. It's good news that .win itself doesn't exist yet, so hopefully people will figure it out when they type out your domain. I wonder if there will be a .lose later, but that's kind of trolling and depressing. Anyway, lex is 2 of the same theme, so .bit and .trade. They are clearly for commerce, but I've seen a lot of domain hacking where people get creative with the domain. So domain hacking is not something malicious, where hackers try to gain access to a domain. Instead, they're trying to use a combination of 2 words before and after the dot. For example, forbid for .bit is an example of domain hacking which has the insane price of $545 US. Crazy expensive, but you understand my point. Another very general example would be .io, any domain that ends with .io. The reason being that a lot of websites, a lot of startups actually, they use the .io as if it meant input-output, although the .io domain is actually assigned to British Indian Ocean Territory. So it is a country code top-level domain. So people just use it for something different. Google Ads actually treat IO as a generic top-level domain instead of a country-targeted domain because people frequently use this domain and see this domain more generic than country-targeted domain. Next is .download, which is quite a long top-level domain really. However, I think it has an advantage of being a popular term with every language. I'm pretty sure when people learn about the internet, the first thing they need to learn about is download, right? So it's easy to spell and usually people don't make mistake with that. However, it is long though, and it has 2 syllables, download. So on the .download website, they actually advocate organization to have a specific .download domain just for the content they need to download. I really don't think that it is necessary because you can just make a subdomain in your own domain for like download.yourdomain.com, you know? So you don't need to have a specific .download domain. I feel like that's kind of wasteful. However, I still think it is a good name because your name.download probably sounds cool, like ocat.download, right? Next, .stream. .stream is meant to be for streamers, for Let's Players, I guess. There's a bunch of ways that people can play around with that word though, so have fun. The last is something that disappoints me, and that is .man, M-E-N. It disappoints me because of the domain itself. And the reason being that .woman doesn't exist. I've searched, and it's 2020. What about gender equality? Anyway, I can't really think of a good domain with .man without sounding sexist, so I won't do it. So here's the list: .bit, .trade, .download, .stream, .man, .win. These are the 6 top-level domains that's available now in porkbun for a low total price of $27 US for 10 years. It's a good deal. I think I'm gonna get some as well. If you are just starting out with a new project, I think you should get it. It's pretty cheap. Let me know if you have come up with something creative in your domain, with methods such as domain hacking that I was talking about. If you are getting a domain to simply showcase your social media page or any other free blogging platform with your posts, you do not need a web server because you can simply redirect the domain that you registered to and have that domain point to the URL of whatever web page that is already existing online. that itself doesn't require that much skill, so everyone can do it. You should also remember that sometimes a domain is about something being easy to remember so that people can reach you. Doesn't have to be your name, doesn't have to be a specific term that is related to what you're doing. Sometimes you just need a domain to make you stand out. I will see you in another video. Bye.